Hi, Mark Power here again, your stuttering specialist. And today I'm going to talk about some simple things that will be reducing your stuttering. And these are things you can use even without therapy. Their effect is pretty dramatic. Unfortunately, most of them don't sound very good, but it's a demonstration of what I've always said: if you can change the way you talk consistently, you don't stutter. So all of these things that I'm going to tell you about are different enough from your regular stuttering speech that the brain processes it differently. I think it's because also that your speech is not, you don't expect your speech to be really carefully listened to. For instance, singing is one example, and nobody's listening to how you're putting words together or the usual things that make you nervous when you talk. So your stuttering is not under scrutiny. Now, singing is an obvious one. When you sing, you don't stutter. Why does that happen? Let me tell you what has been shown by research and also what I think are the big differences. So once again, singing is a lot different from normal speaking. It doesn't sound like that at all. When you're producing singing, you're not producing normal speech, so your brain does something differently. It just doesn't stutter, it processes differently. Also, when you're singing, you keep your voice on. When you sing "Happy Birthday," you keep your voice on. And you'll also, if you notice when you sing, you usually know the words or else you're in trouble. The words are already written down, and even the notes are written down, so you know if your voice is going up and down. So there's no need to plan anything. Usually in singing, you have a series of short verses or phrases of about 3 or 4 or 5 words, like "Happy Birthday to you," and you can plan each one, not only what the words are, but how you're going to use your voice to go up and down. It gives you some time to do that. And also remember, you're focused on how it sounds and whether it sounds good with musically, rather than trying to get a message across. Stuttering is more like getting a message across. So all these components, keeping your voice on, knowing the words, keeping the phrases short. Also, you have a standard rhythm of singing. They even measure that in beats, so that helps you also. Another way to reduce stuttering that's been shown is talking at a slower speech rate. If you talk like this, you don't stutter. And it sounds not too natural, but it does control your stuttering. And that's what I want people to realize, that there are some very simple and effective ways to totally block out the stuttering. They don't sound natural, but they work. So if you could make these things sound natural, then you'd be okay. So with a slow rate of speech, your voice is on very smoothly. You're also connecting all your sounds with your voice rather than starting up and down and over again, which has been connected with stuttering. Having short voicings turning on and off is you're more likely to stutter when you do that. And with a slow rate, you have more time to plan what you're saying too, because you're not talking a mile a minute. Another area that you can look at is when you use rhythm speech. Rhythm speech, sometimes called syllable time speech, is when you're talking like this and you just use one syllable at a time. Now this is very easy to do. You don't need to plan the phrases, but it sounds quite weird when you're talking on the beat. But it is different enough from your usual stuttered speech that it works, it's effective. The timing is easier because you're just talking on each beat. You don't have to worry about that. And you don't expect to have smooth speech. And you can plan what you're saying because you're talking a little bit slower. Another interesting way to reduce stuttering is talking with an accent. When you're all talking like this, you probably won't stutter. And that's because, once again, you're talking in a different way than your regular speech. And that's why you don't stutter. The brain just doesn't stutter when you're doing something different enough from your regular speaking. Also, the fact that it's different enough from your regular stuttered speech has something to do with how the brain is processing. Usually, in normal speakers, they speak with using their left hemisphere. There's an area called Broca's area that is involved in producing speech. Well, when they use EEGs or PET scans or MRIs with people who stutter, they find that the stutterers are using their right hemispheres. And that's the wrong hemisphere. That's the physiological difference. The right hemisphere is mostly thinking in pictures. The emotions are there and large perceptual type things. Whereas the left hemisphere is where you need analytic sequencing and things that are needed for putting speech together. And if you're using the right hemisphere to try to do that, you're going to have a problem. But when they measure people who stutter, their right hemisphere lights up, and you can see they're using more of that than they should. So what's the solution? We already found that if you can change the way you talk, your brain is processing differently. So it is a physiological problem, and speaking in a different way is effective, and it resolves that. So if you could once again do that and sound natural, you'd be all set. But in order to do that, you really need a mentor. You need somebody that has been through that and knows how to change your speech. But what's really helpful is if you have real-time feedback of your voice, and you can actually see your voice working. And I have a program now that actually does that. It uses a throat microphone and sends your voice back to an app where you can see your voice working. So after you learn this new technique, you then start using it without the throat microphone in real speaking situations. It takes about 2 weeks to learn the skill and about 2 or 3 months to transfer it to all your speaking situations. I'm accepting new patients now. I see about 2 or 3 patients a month. So let me know if I can help. Thanks a lot. Bye. Mark Power here. And if you like this video, then don't forget to like and subscribe for more helpful videos like this one. Also, be sure to hit the share button and leave us a comment below so that others can benefit from it as well. I'll be recording a lot more helpful videos like this one to help you overcome your stuttering. And if you'd like to be notified, then click on the bell icon below.